So we gotta have to always change the menu, rotate the menu. And with that, it requires creativity, food knowledge, a good teamwork, a good storage management, and the rest. And just that that is that, and believe me, that's not a bad thing at all. That's a good thing, because why? It demands you, it pushes you, so that you will go out there and get more knowledge and get more idea. So that I think that's a good thing for myself. It's very positive if you see it that way. You learn more, you challenge yourself to be better.
Welcome to the Private Chef podcast, serving the 1%. I'm your host, Hannes Henke, and on our show we speak to the best chefs, how they honed in on their skills to excel in the industry, and what it takes to work as a private chef for some of the most exclusive clients in the world. Welcome back to the Private Chef podcast. My name is Hannes Henke. Today we actually have to call it the Private Chef Pastry podcast, maybe. Today, I'm so glad to welcome our guest, Chef Suci. We'll be diving more into sweets and desserts. Suci is a private pastry chef for the royal family in Saudi Arabia, and she'll talk about her experience as a pastry chef for the eminent clients, some of her best dessert menus, and how she sources the ingredients for beautiful and delicious desserts and pastries. So, welcome to the show, Suci. You're one of the few chefs that is a private pastry chef, which is a niche within the niche. So tell us a little bit more about how that came along.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Yes, and first, thank you for inviting me. Well, yes, as you say, it is pretty rare to be a pastry chef and in a private industry. Well, I found it really amazing. It's really different to compare with other industry out there.
So what was your personal journey like? How did you get started in the kitchen? Did you start with pastries, or did you start as a cook or chef somewhere? And what was that journey like for yourself?
Well, I started with study, of course. I had a diploma in culinary art in IMI, Switzerland. And after that, I start with internship in Kuala Lumpur. I'm Indonesian, by the way, my nationality. And then after that, I moved to Dubai and start on from the beginning. I was already focused on the pastry. And in Dubai, I was like 5 years, and I moved a lot from the hotel, restaurant, Michelin star, and even pastry boutique. And from that, I got the opportunity to move to Saudi Arabia to work as the private pastry chef. And to get into that level, I believe hard work, of course, is number one. But I think in this industry, what is one thing that can help you is the link, is the connection, is the people that you know. And that is one, I think, very important, to have a good relation with people around you, with your colleague, with anybody. Because when you have that, everyone will come to you and offering you a job.
Yeah. So how did you go about building that network? Is that something that's very natural to you? Because you're very easy to talk to. You have a big smile on your face, and then you have sweets in your hand. So maybe networking for you is even easier. How did you go about making those connections, having those links in the industry?
Obviously, again, as I'm pastry chef, especially in the Middle East, I try to always have connection within surrounded me, like in different hotel, in different restaurant, and I never try to close myself to be just being with my surrounded by, I always try to build my connection and always try to promote what I did, what can I achieve to people. So that's also part of being, promoting yourself, so that people will come to you and like, hey, we need this, and like, oh yeah, we know there's this chef, something like that. So I think connection is very important.
So, what was that journey like as a young woman traveling around the world? You what was it, for example, like for you to go to Switzerland, probably by yourself, right? Your family didn't come with you. You were probably on your own.
Yeah, so I left Indonesia when I was 18, and I start studying internship. And the moment I finish my study, directly moved to Dubai. And to be a young woman surrounded with stranger people that you don't know, and it's not an easy path to go through. Many of my colleagues or like people that I know that I was studying with choose to stay back home or choose to do something in their own country because of the comfort, because you're surrounded with your people. But me, on the other way, what happened was, on my last semester in doing my culinary arts, back home, my mom have a bakery shop and a furniture in our house, and everything was on fire. So me, my family, we lost everything. So I have no choice but to go out there and find a job. My big dreams was to finish the diploma in culinary art and to do a degree in CIA in New York, by the way, which is my dreams. And I knew from that moment I cannot go there, but I have to go out
Yeah.
there and to use this diploma and go out there and try to support what I can do. You know what I mean? And it wasn't easy, but I always believe that, and believe me, being a woman, being young especially, and to not have any kind of experience in your life and just go out there with nobody, it's not easy. But I think as long as you have the passion, you have the dreams, you have the vision, and I think you can do anything.
I'm pretty sure at this point your parents are super proud of you that you went out there and you not only carved out a path for yourself, but also made sure to take care of the family in the process.
Oh my God, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, look at
Thank
it.
you
You
so
really
much.
stepped it up at a time where it's so crucial for the family, no?
Yes, it wasn't easy.
Yeah, very nice. So,
Thank
is
you.
that where your
So, yeah.
original passion for pastry came from? Like from your parents, you mentioned that your mom has a bakery shop, or used to have a bakery shop, and is that where your sweet tooth came from?
Yeah, I think I can tell you for sure, because my mom has to use bakery, and on the weekends, I was still in the high school. On the weekend, I will be staying up late to 2 a.m., 3 a.m., making donuts dough, like literally making donuts dough, making them brown. And what we do, we don't use a donut cutter like people use nowadays. It's easy, make it whole, and but we did make it like in traditional way to make it a whole with everything with by hands. So we will stay up there like 3 to 5 a.m. Like I will do that every weekend, every single day, and then as well trying to find my way to get into international university. So that was how I ended up being pastry chef.
Yeah, nice. So, what was the transition like from the restaurant space? I mean, I'm somewhat familiar, what pastry chef work looks like in a restaurant, and I'm also familiar what my pastry looks like in a household. But what are your main tasks working in the private space as a pastry chef? Do you like make sweets and cakes on a daily basis? Is it more about maybe certain figures or chocolate figures that you're making? What is like the primary part of your day look like? What are you taking care of?
So the main difference that I can put out there is that when you work in the restaurant or in the normal industry or pastry shop or bakery, every day you have different customer. But when you work
Yeah,
in the private, every single day you have the same customer. So, and we have to work on the creativity. For example, in what I put the roles for myself, also with the team that uh, we have to rotate the menu every single month. For example, today is Monday, and for example, I make tiramisu today. That means I cannot make tiramisu for the next whole month until the next month. So we gotta have to always change the menu, rotate the menu, and with that, it requires creativity, food knowledge, a good teamwork, a good storage management, and the rest. And just
yeah,
that that is that, and believe me, that's not a bad thing at all. That's a good thing because why? It demands you, it pushes you so that you will go out there and get more knowledge and get more idea so that I I think that's a good thing for myself. It's very positive if you see it that way. You learn more, you challenge yourself to be better.
yeah. Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously, if you have to cater to that level of variety and they don't want to see anything twice within 4 weeks, it requires a different level. And I think that's a common theme we see that, the restaurant menu to a large degree, it can be somewhat the same for multiple weeks and then you adjust it seasonally because the majority of your clients probably don't come even once a week, especially if it's a Michelin star restaurant. Maybe that was
Yes,
actually maybe
yes.
something that surprised me in New York. In New York, Michelin star restaurants have regulars that come multiple times a week. But then maybe sometimes we would just
Yeah,
have something different for them, and the rest of the restaurant still
yeah.
gets the regular menu, which is something
Oh,
that around the world isn't necessarily the case where you have regulars that come 3 times a week to a Michelin star restaurant. Um, I think
well, that's a very good
most
one.
restaurants have reservations where you see them every, I don't know, every other month, and for some people that would already be a lot. So obviously that's very different.
Yes.
In your position, you really have to be on top of it. So where do you primarily source your ingredients? Like where do you order the chocolate? Do you fly that in? Do you have a good market for those things locally or?
Well, obviously, it's based on where I'm at. We have to get everything, not everything, like most of the ingredients um, from outside of the country, like chocolates, good chocolates, and then like many frozen items, especially like pastry. We have items that is just cannot be replaced, and I do have my preference brand that I would like to use, and we work together with this brand, and they are able to send it from out of the country. Basically, anything we can get it.
Yeah, the world is your oyster.
Yes.
I was speaking with another chef, and he was actually working for an extended part of the royal family in the UK, and in a similar way,
Mm-hmm.
that the theme was like there is no budget. It's like just make sure it's the
Yes.
absolute best. We just want to eat the best,
Yes.
and we
Yes.
and that's it.
And guess what? Uh, Another thing, if you ask me, uh, probably in the chef side, when you're in the hotel, when you're in the restaurant, you gotta do monthly storage check, you gotta do costing, you gotta do count at your waste. Guess what? In your private industry, it is not really necessary to count what is your budget, because you literally can come out with, okay, I need this, and that. That's the total. Okay, we get it. There was no like, oh no, we gotta change the product. This is too expensive. There's literally everything is yes, yes, yes. So yeah, that's a good thing though. For me, I can get anything.
You can I don't know. You can fly in a perfectly mango ripe on the tree, and then you wrap it in gold, and everybody's happy.
Yes, yes, yes. We do, but probably without the gold though.
They don't appreciate the gold. I mean that's also. I remember a couple of years ago there was, since you mentioned donuts and now I mentioned the gold. A couple of years ago there was a restaurant in New York City,
Okay.
and I think it was for
Mm-hmm.
New Year's or something, and they started wrapping donuts in gold, and people were going
Okay.
crazy, and I think that donut was over $100 or something. It was like,
Is it
and I was like,
the, I believe,
people are just insane.
you see, that's like that's the viral, and once people say, oh, that's good, like everyone will go. And I believe it was just 24K, the gold leaf, 24 karat gold leaf. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. It is good market.
So, what are some of the ingredients that are the hardest to get, or you don't have any issues getting anything? Is the logistics such that you can literally fly in anything?
Logistically, I would say, since we are in the Middle East, and then probably like to get something that is exotic fruits, or actually there are a few fruits that grow in the Middle East, but that's another thing though, because if we know that it would take us time to get some of the product, then we just gotta, um, we gotta update the menu, update the recipe,
Yeah.
something like that, because we just want to give the best for our clients. And just if we know that it's impossible or it will take longer time than it's needed, then it's better not, rather than to keep them waiting.
Do you ever see how much more expensive it is to fly in those items than maybe it was in Switzerland or Indonesia, or because I'm pretty sure it all comes at the cost, and I remember originally when we started having mangoes flown in that were actually tree ripened, and you could buy a regular mango maybe for 2-3 euros, or you could buy the one that was flown in the early stages. It was like 20 to 30 euros.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
pretty much 10 times more expensive in terms of ratio. Do you have an idea some of the items where for you as a regular person you'd be like, this is just insane that we're flying this in, but since it doesn't matter, we're still doing it.
Um, I believe from our supplier out here, um, because we have a really good relation with our supplier and with the market out here. in the Middle East. So I think it always depends on when you want to get it and then how you get it. You know what I mean? Because if you like, okay, I want mango on December, for example, and obviously they'll be like, okay, because normally it's $10 and it's December, I'll cost you $30. You know what I mean? So again, for me, I obviously the cost sometimes is not really necessary. Whatever it costs, it is we can get it. But as a chef, sometimes I think it's necessary for you to always work on the availability of the product.
Yeah.
So that the price will go crazy right now. Instead of ordering that item, why don't we use something that is available? So yeah,
Well,
I don't
sometimes
see it like
clients,
a big
the clients
problem
just
though.
sometimes clients just want something. You see, I remember when I first started working in the culinary field, it wasn't common yet that you have strawberries in the middle of the winter in Germany. And then the same is, for
Okay.
example, for cherries. It's not cherry season at Christmas in Germany, but it's cherry season in Chile. So, then people started being creative and they started flying in those really delicious cherries from Chile. And, so there's something to be said. If money is no object, there's always season somewhere around the world.
True,
So,
true, true, true.
and I think,
That's true,
especially
true.
clients on that level, they're not necessarily used to know or they don't want to hear no. So, it depending, it might be very common that you just like where whatever it takes, and whether someone literally has to go and pick it up and bring it back, or you just a simple example is strawberries, for example. Now in the United States,
Yes.
there's companies like Triscoll. They've literally mapped out the entire climate zone all the way down to like Central America, so that the entire year
Wow.
they can deliver strawberries. And at some point they will come from
Wow.
the Northeast itself in the peak season when strawberries grow there naturally. And then depending on the weather, it just goes down and, eventually they come from California, Florida, or Central America. And they've just mapped it out commercially in such a way that the entire year you can buy strawberries. But even for a common person, the price might change anywhere between $2 a pound to $10 a pound in December, maybe, depending on what the market
Wow.
is like.
Exactly. Wow. That's yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Like, I can tell you, like, when we enter the fridge, it's gonna look like an international fridge, because you'll find the banana from Philippines, the lime, the raspberry from Mexico, and then the fish, the sea bass from Indonesia, and then the meat from Australia, and it's just international. I can't even tell you, like, it's so huge. Yeah, but of course
Yeah.
we have to. Obviously, we have to get what it is necessary, no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what. Yeah, that's kind of it. So, what are some of the skills
Yes.
that you were really working on right ones? Something. Obviously, you've already mastered your craft, but what are some of the dessert skills or recipes that you really want to hone in right now? Something that keeps you up at night because you haven't
Um,
quite mastered it yet.
right now, I mean, it is true. It is true. Sometimes we just, oh my God, I cannot get this right. I cannot get this right. Why? And sometimes, yeah, it frustrated you. For something right now that I've been working on, sometimes something that is so easy, that is so difficult. You know what it is that I'm working on? It's the Japanese cheesecake. Oh my God, the cotton cheesecake. Yes, it is
What
so
makes it so
difficult. Basically,
difficult?
it's just a meringue, Philadelphia, and I have tried it in so many different oven in different ways. Sometimes it turned out good. Sometimes it does look good, and then the second after it fell down. But that is another good thing. Being a private chef is that you can one day come out to the kitchen and you know what? I'm gonna do this today. I'm gonna make an experiment. Guess what? You cannot do that in the normal restaurant. You cannot do that in normal industry. Why? Because you have food costs, because you have store, you have wastage that you have to control. In a private chef, you can come in the kitchen and think, you know what, I'm gonna make something new today. And let me try it. And every day is just a different day. There is nothing same. There is nothing normal about it. And I think that is so special.
So you find yourself in culinary paradise because you can experiment every single day, like almost like you're in a test kitchen. And cost isn't really the
Yes, like,
object. So you're like, wow, I saw this
yeah,
crazy thing. Let me try it out. And it takes you 5 times, 10 times to master
yes,
it. And then people will be
yep,
happy once you mastered it, but nobody will be upset about the spilled milk in the process and the cost of learning.
uh-uh, nope, 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 literally. And that's what I try to show to the team as well, that, hey guys, you have this opportunity, use it. If one day you come up with idea, you know what, instead of do that, let's do it this way. So it's like kind of a laboratory, so we expand our knowledge by doing exercise, something like that.
Yeah. So how big is the culinary team that you're part of? You're the only pastry chef?
Oh no, 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 no. I work with some of the best chef in the world, I will tell you. One of the chef is Chocolate Master. I don't know if I can say his name over here, but yeah, because our team is quite it's quite huge, really huge.
Yeah.
Can you tell a private pastry contain like 10 team, 10 people?
Whoa.
That is
This is
just
next level.
pastry. That is just
Yeah.
pastry. Yes. And that is like but normally if you work in the hotel, that is normal. You have the head pastry chef, you got two sous chef, you got chef de partie, demi chef, and then commis, and that's okay because that's what you needed. But yeah, that's what we have here. It's a huge team, and the reason why we have that many staff, because many reasons. Sometimes the clients needed to travel, and maybe one have to go to that place, another one to go to another country. So that's why we need like huge and strong people, strong team
Yeah.
that can handle anywhere you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's certainly unlikely, but it's something that I've also explored with the agencies. That the teams over there are significantly different compared to, for example, how we operate at most of the estates in New York or in the States in general. It's not those big of teams where you almost feel like you're working in a hotel kitchen or a resort, because you entertain so much and there's so many different aspects to the lifestyle. As you said, there's a lot of travel and strong people have to go travel with them. So it's a very different and interesting dynamic to work over there. So do you ever go along when they travel?
Oh yes, I do actually. We did few traveling, and as well as many people back then, they do have a lot of traveling. And with traveling, something I can tell you, like right now you're here in your kitchen, you know everything where it is, you know the ingredients, you know everything perfect. But when you go to another country and you finding yourself with this new product, and what is this, like many different butter, different milk, different flour, and sometimes you just gotta make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah. I think especially when it's around pastry and flour and ovens, consistency is so important, and consistency comes from having, similar flours, having the same oven, and that can completely change the
Yeah,
game,
yeah, yes, yes,
because
absolutely.
I always joke, it's like, when you get into a new kitchen, it's like meeting a new person. You really have
Yes,
to get to know it. Like the oven behaves
yes,
differently,
yes.
that has every oven has its own attitude. And
Exactly, exactly. Which is why I'm still finding out with this cotton cheesecake. Like I keep trying them in different oven. One day, hopefully.
yeah. It will happen. Maybe on the next travel you find the oven, and then be like, hey, we gotta bring one of those in here. Like, please get me one of those ovens.
Maybe.
So what are some of your favorite things to work on?
Like in, you mean as in item or as in products or ingredients?
Yeah, either way, like items to make, ingredients to work with,
Mm,
or what are some of the favorite things
at
that
the
you like to
moment,
do?
at the moment, because I keep on changing what I like, because I keep on, okay, like I found something new and I will be interested with it, and I got it right. Okay, let's move to the next chapter. Right now my chapter that I really really into it is the Korean buttercream cake with the
Why is
flour
that?
buttercream. And it took a lot of time, and took a lot of artistry, because you cannot just put a red color and you call it red. There are many pattern of red, many pattern of color, many pattern of flower that you gotta learn, and I'm really into it right now. In fact, actually, like a few months ago, I was really trying to go to Moscow. I found this chef that she wanted to do one-on-one master class, and we were deal with the price and the day, and then the war happened. I was really ready for it to go there and learn.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, yeah. But maybe, probably I will go to Korea, try to get, someone who, yeah, again, have to find a translator with the master class. So it's another thing. So I hope I have time someday.
Huh. You might be able to go to New York instead. As a lot of Korean people, there's like an entire subculture of
Mm-hmm.
Korean bakeries and restaurants in New York City. There's literally a part of town called like
Oh
Koreatown.
yeah.
So if then you don't need a translator if you're at least in an English speaking country
Mm.
where they might be able to teach you authentic ways of baking.
Yeah, this is something that I really into it right now. And especially when I come back to Indonesia, my country, and I seen everyone love Japanese and Korean dessert, and so that's why I'm trying to spend my time studying that dessert to master it.
Why do they love that so much? Because they are less sweet, or
I think yes, like my personal taste bud, I like it because
that
it's less sweet, and that's also uh, what I'm trying to do with my dessert. Try to have sugar free. Try to use like anything but sugar or lesser sugar, and more fruity. Instead of using sugar, we try to use it something from fruits. So yeah, I think that's why we Asian people, we love Japanese and Korean sweets. They're so good.
Yeah. I remember the first time I walked in with a Korean friend of mine into a Korean bakery in it's like in Midtown New York, Koreatown, and for me the experience, some of those items for me they were slightly unrelatable because they looked maybe like something that should have been savory, but then it was like slightly sweet, and I'm like, this is interesting. That was like cloud looking like things. Unfortunately, I don't know the names of them. I'm
Well, was it
lousy on those
nice?
things when it comes to the names. But yeah, I mean, it's not all of that necessarily something that I would seek out for myself. But I'm
You're willing to
but I
try.
get it. I come. Yeah. Obviously, as a chef, you're always willing to try.
Yes,
Like,
yes. Yes, of course. I love to do that. I'll go to some random places and be like, choose what can I try today? And hopefully I'm not will be disappointed, but at least I got to know what the taste is.
well, I think the nature of trying new things is being disappointed at occasion. Like that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And if you always want to have a predictable experience, you can only go to the places you've been at.
Yes.
So the nature of trying out new things has disappointment within the
Yeah.
equation always.
Yeah. Always. Actually, always. True.
Yeah, but then occasionally, we're like blown away. Like I remember the first time when I was on a market in southern Thailand, and I had like an actually tree-ripe mango in my hand. It was like the sweetest thing ever, and I'm like, I felt like it's the first time in my life that I actually ate a mango, and everything till that day that I got in Europe wasn't a real mango.
Yes,
It's like some
yes.
mango-like looking something. But compared to those tree-ripe mangoes, you're like, oh my goodness.
But wait, did you eat it with the steamed coconut rice and coconut sauce too?
Yeah, that too. I also tried that, yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
With the sticky rice.
Yes. I love that dessert. I love it. So simple but so beautifully done.
I mean, I didn't necessarily need the rice. I would have been totally happy with the mango itself, but that's
True.
different culture, different
Yes,
dessert.
of course.
Yeah. So what are some of your favorite desserts that you maybe picked up in your time, for example, in Switzerland, in Europe, stuff that maybe I can relate to? No, just kidding. But what are some of the European classics that you like to make or like to eat?
Something that I like to make, and sometimes that I feel like something that I like, I have to refer myself, do they like? So that's also another question that I have to always ask myself every day. If I know I like this one, but if I make it, do they like it? But there are stuff that I make that they love, and I continue making it, which is like milfei. And another thing would be, I think like Claire, Choux, San Honore, or like flan, and then something that we probably what I really like to make this day, galette de roi with the almond cream inside, and you can just put anything. You can put pieces of candied fruit, but for me, I'll put like the best dates which is majol dates. You just chop them and then not boil, like soak them in the nice hot water so they become soft and soaked. And then you mix them with your almond cream and just cover it in the middle of the puff pastry. Amazing. Gala durwa.
Do you ever teach any of those recipes to your mom? Is it something the two of you have in common where you come home and like, Mom, I have to teach this to you, or I want you to try this?
Believe me, when I come home, I'm not even in the kitchen. I don't even step my foot in the kitchen because I'm so done. I'm so done. I'll be like, why aren't you cooking? Like, can somebody cook for me? I've been cooking. Yeah. But we share, like, I make this, show this one. And she'll be like, yeah, that's look, I don't think, yeah, that's good look. I don't feel like I want to make it. You can say, yeah, just like that.
Yeah. I can totally relate to that. When you come home and you're like, no, and everybody's excited. I'm like, oh, yeah, now we will eat something amazing, because the chef is back home. And I'm like, no, can somebody else please do that? Like this, I do that the whole year.
Yes, I want to relax my feet. True.
Yeah. So, what is your outlook into the future? What are some of the things that you want to accomplish? Do you ever want to maybe have your own shop, or do you enjoy your current position, or what would you like to do with all of your skills that you honed over the years?
I believe while I was being myself from a normal industry chef, get into the private chef. And I know that these are not for forever, because there are many dreams and goals and vision that I want to achieve. But I believe before doing that, for example, making and opening my own pastry boutique, and before that, I know I have to go back to the normal industry again. I know, because, I think some people might find, this is the best. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. But I know this is not forever. And, obviously one day I want to open my own pastry shop. And that's for sure, to have like many branch and to be, to be well known, to be the best patisserie, obviously. Probably in Indonesia, hopefully someday.
In where?
In Indonesia.
In Indonesia.
Probably. Yeah, that would be a Elpa Berla something. Hopefully, speaking to the existence, right? Manifesting. Someday I will look back to this podcast and say, hey, yeah, I did it.
This is when I put it out there and I did it.
Yes,
you will call me.
Guess what? I will tell you right now.
We'll celebrate it.
I just called 2 of my colleagues today, because few years back when I just started to work as a private chef with the family, and I said, you know what? Someday I will be in the interview and they'll be asking me, so Chef Suci, can you please share with us how was your experience working as a private chef in this area? And I will give them all the answer. And they'll be like, yeah, right. And then today I send them a voice note. Guys, do you remember a few years back that I told you I will get interview? Yeah, guess what? Yeah, it's happening. It's life. It's life always.
But as I said earlier, but you deserved it with all your accomplishments, and just look at the journey you have behind you. You went into different continents as a young woman. You worked yourself through the different ranks. You really honed your skills. there is a journey making this happen for you. So kudos to you. And,
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure that if you put your mind to it, you will also be able to have your own shop one day.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Really.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
So, well, Chef Suci, I'm glad I was part of making one of your manifestations happen. Now it's time for the next level, So you work on your vision. In the meantime, thank you so much for your time, and sharing a bit of your
Thank you
story
so much.
of what it means to pretty much work in a palace,
Yes, yes.
And then, where can people connect with you?
I'll be on my Instagram, which is at elpaberla. Elpaberla is quite difficult. ELPABERLA.
Well, we will put it in the show notes.
Elpaberla. Yeah, that's only my last name. That's about it. And LinkedIn, Suci Elpaberla.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for making the time. This has been very very fun, and
It is.
it's just amazing how different the industry is. You can work here as a private chef, and then there's someone like you who is a private pastry chef in a team
Thank you.
in a private
And
household.
can I just say,
And
sorry,
yeah,
can I just say something
of course.
that since when I was finished my diploma, I have one mindset in my head, which is I would rather work in 5 different places within 10 years than working in 1 or 2 places within 10 years. Because sometimes people find it comfort. Sometimes people find, you know what, this is good. This is it for me. I'm going to stay here forever. No growth, nothing. But of course, loyalty is very important when it's come to working in industry, That is very, very good point, being royalty. Being royal to your company. But I just want to put it out there. If you're
Being
between...
loyal to the royal.
Well, that's good. What I'm saying is that if you are between 20 to 30, please don't chase the money. Chase the experience. Work 2 years in this restaurant, another 2 years in that hotel, another 2 years in that pastry shop, another 2 years in that bakery. Within 10 years, you know everything. And guess what? Money and success will follow you. Just get as much as experience while you're young. Yeah, so that's what I really want to put
I would
out
agree,
there.
100%.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, and I very much agree with that. In the early stage of my career, I was always optimizing for the experience, and actually in the first couple of positions, I never even asked what the pay is. I was just like, I just want to come for the experience. I just want to come for the experience, and only in the later stage, when we start getting a little bit more sincere about family and everything, that's when you optimize for both.
Yes.
But I 100% agree with you. There is something to be said about going for, there's a season for learning and then there's a season for earning.
Yes.
And I would agree that the 20s to 30s, if you go for the experience in that decade, all the other decades will be fruitful anyway.
Yes, obviously. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's been a really good platform for me to put out there what my idea and my thoughts, and I think you did a great thing for chef out there, because chef known as to be hidden in the kitchen. They don't go out there and talk, and I think you provide a good platform for us chef to speak out, and for the young chef to listen and get a better understanding about what it is out there. Thank you for doing this.
Well, Thank you. That means a lot to me because this is exactly why I'm doing it. Because I want the next generations of chefs to, have something to turn towards, especially in that industry where it's so niche. I mean,
Yes.
who of us would have the chance to speak to someone like yourself, who's literally worked in the palace, and get an idea what that is like.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons I love to do this, is
That's amazing.
to nurture that for the next generation of chefs.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Thank you for joining us at the Private Chef podcast. If you know any highly skilled chefs that want to take their life to the next level, make sure to share this podcast with them. And if you enjoyed this episode, click subscribe and check out our upcoming episodes. Thank you for listening.